Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. We got some more breaking news as Landon Thomas of the 2024 class commits to Georgia. This kid is the number one tight end, a top 25 player nationally. What's the saying? The rich get richer. What Georgia has done at the tight end position and what they already have at the tight end position is just fun to think about. I mean, I think Georgia could legitimately run four tight ends out onto the field and be really successful this year. I mean, Brock Bowers was the best tight end last year. You have Eric Gilbert, who was the number one tight end ever rated by 24/7 Sports, and this dude's potential is phenomenal. You saw it flash in the spring game. I'm excited to see him on the field. You have Darnell Washington, who's just I haven't seen a tight end that big and that athletic. And then Oscar Delp, a guy that's not really talked about. He's a true freshman, hasn't played any snaps for Georgia yet, but I know you Georgia fans know of Oscar Delp because he's an absolute stud. And then they bring in Landon Thomas, the number one tight end in the 2024 class. Guys, before we get into this player as a player, just wanted to say thank you guys for all the support you guys have shown the channel. We'll keep this one short, but if you guys do like the content, you like talking college football, consider subscribing to the channel. We appreciate it. Let's start talking a little bit about Landon Thomas. This guy, he's 6'4", 230 pounds. So the frame for what? A kid who's going to be a junior in high school, that is extremely, extremely impressive, I guess you'd say. What they've done with him, and from what I've seen of him, as a freshman, he played a lot of wide receiver just because he's a great athlete, but didn't necessarily have that tight end frame yet. During his sophomore year, you could see that frame. I mean, he is a very physical guy in the run game, and that's only going to continue to develop. I mean, he's got the frame. He's got to fill it out more, and that's what you normally do when you get to Georgia. And Georgia likes to use their tight ends in blocking. Brock Bowers does it. He's just too good not to have consistently running routes. But Darnell Washington's a guy that, I mean, it's like he's having another tackle on the field who also can run routes, make people miss an open space. Landon Thomas will definitely fall under the Oscar Delp kind of ilk in the sense that he's going to be a very good athlete when he catches the ball, creating separation, and then after the catch. That's something that made Brock Bowers so special his true freshman year is guys just couldn't tackle him. Whether it was a linebacker, whether it was a safety, whether it was a defensive lineman, he just wasn't really easily tackled, and really, really impressive for an 18-year-old. Landon Thomas is going to bring a little bit of that kind of juice to this Georgia team. And it's going to be nice because Brock Bowers, he's got 2 more years left at Georgia. Darnell Washington might be out at the end of the year. We'll see. Then you have Oscar Delp and then Landon Thomas. The pipeline of tight ends at Georgia is awesome. And Georgia's, it's such an important position to Georgia because they're not the most explosive offense in the country. That's not really what Kirby Smart wants to do. He wants to run the football with his tight ends and then use those tight ends out in space. But it's not like Alabama or some of the other teams, Tennessee comes to mind, where they're going to spread you out and use all blades of grass of the field. It's a much more physical team that also relies on the defense a lot. And so they're not looking to spread them out. And tight ends, they run a lot of 12 personnel, sometimes even 13 personnel with John Fitzpatrick last year. And he was an NFL draft pick, and nobody even talks about it. So the ability for Georgia not only to recruit the best tight ends in the country, but develop them into really, really good college football players is something really special. I mean, if you think about it, John Fitzpatrick was the 3rd best tight end on the team last year, and he went in the sixth round, I believe. The tight end development, the tight end recruitment just is phenomenal for Georgia at such an important position to that offense. The Georgia Bulldogs, you take a look at this 2024 class, and it's obviously early. We don't want to freak out too much about what this Georgia class looks like. But 2 guys, we'll scroll down. I clicked the wrong button there. In 2024, they got 2 commits. They both play on the same team in Colquitt County. 1 tight end, 1 wide receiver, both top 70 prospects on the board. You are for sure can expect them to fill out that defensive side of the recruiting class. And guys, Georgia is looking like a team that is going to start taking over college football because what they do, not only on the recruiting trail, but what they do when those guys get to school and how they develop those guys is just massively important. This is a very fun team to watch. Kirby Smart is a coach that you'd want to play for. I say this all the time. If I was a stud athlete, which I'm certainly not, 5'8", 165 pounds, soaking wet, I don't want to go play for Kirby Smart. That energy is so attractive to these young athletes, and they love going to play for him. And so the Georgia Bulldogs, keep an eye. This is very, very early 2024, but very, very exciting. Appreciate you guys checking us out again. If you guys like the content, consider subscribing, and we'll talk to y'all later.